Okay, so welcome everybody to the webinar on what sort of literacy activities you can use in your classroom that are science, reading of science aligned. So you want to use activities that are basically using the skills based on the science of reading, and that the children are carrying that over after working with you in a workshop. So what I'm going to do is just give you a little bit of background on myself. So I have been teaching for about 14 years now. I have specialized in learning support, so working with children with learning difficulties, especially in literacy. I have gone on a few workshops that are science of reading based. I have done phonographics, which encompasses all the elements of the science of reading. And I was also on a time to read workshop, and also teaching for so many years and working with kids with learning difficulties. I realized, well, what are the best resources that they actually do well with and engage in, and you can see a difference. So also my passion is helping teachers find those resources, because there's just so many out there and you don't know what to pick, what to choose, what's going to help, what's not going to help. So what I've done is I create resources that work on the skills needed for successful reading and writing and spelling skills. So I'm going to give you some pictures, show you some ideas. And also at the end, I've got some free links, which are really great, that offer some free resources as well on where you can go onto and find those. So I hope you find this informative. So I'm going to share my screen now with you. And if you can't see the screen, please just unmute and let me know so that we are all on the same page. Okay, so welcome to the webinar hosted by myself, Christina Wakefield. Okay, so what I've done here is I've got a template of a small group lesson plan that follows a scope and sequence. So why I've done this is that for teachers that are working in small groups with their kids, again, it can be different ability groups, you can change this. Then at the bottom where I've circled, there are certain skills that they should be working on for them to get successful reading and writing spelling skills. So these activities all build on that and can be used in your literacy centers and in your activities. So have you got rhyming activities, word construction like word building, which we'll get into, some syllable work, phoneme manipulation and deletion, initial, final sounds, and your medium sounds, and your middle sounds, and if you've got some onset and rhyme. So this is a great plan that you could use, and this is going to be one of the free resources that you will be receiving. So this is just an outline of a scope and sequence, what you can follow, and then you've got your word work with some words. Now this word work with the words is something you could use in your literacy activities in their independent literacy group work. So they could go, so once you've taught them the new concepts, the letter sounds, if it's digraphs, whatever rule you're working on, they go off and they can do those activities based on those words they've learned. And I will show you some examples. And then you've got some sentences that they could also write. So this is quite a great scope and sequence that you could use and gives you some examples on how to do it. And again, just another outline of what you could do. Again, this is a different scope and sequence. You have your resources over there. What could you use once you've taught in your small group lesson? And these are some ideas of what you could use that I have circled in black. And then on the other side is just a lesson plan that you could follow. And this is free on my TPT page, where you get a free template of this one, and just to show you, and it's an outline on how you could construct your small groups and what activities you could use in your literacy independent centers. Okay, this is something that I've created that you could use to display if you've got a smart board, whatever you use or whatever you have or maybe an Apple TV, you would display this up so the class or your group can see, okay, once I've met with the teacher, what activities can I go to? So you would focus on word work activities, which I've given some examples, and we'll go more in depth into that. Some reading activities, and then you've got some writing activities. So they can see, okay, if they're in the Beatles group, so for word work, that's the activity I need to go to. And then for reading, that's the activity I need to do. And for writing. So this is a structured literacy approach because it will cover all the elements of reading, writing, spelling. So this is a really good way to structure your lessons. Okay, so this is one of our examples, and some of you may have seen this in some of the groups on Facebook. These are some resources now that you can use in your independent literacy groups. Once you've seen them, you could also use some of these activities in your small instructional groups, but they can go off and do some of these activities. So these activities are important because you want to make sure that they are doing decoding and blending skills, that there's some phoneme awareness activities. Maybe they need some sound cards in front of them while they're doing these activities because they might still need help with recognizing the letters. Again, this is more tailored to your younger groups. It could also be tailored to your second, third grade learners who are struggling with reading, and they have dyslexia and they need to go back to basics. So this is an example of some of the activities you could use, and also multi-sensory. You want to make it multi-sensory. So as you can see, I put some Play-Doh there for some puppet activities that they can actually use and push down with their fingers as they're saying the sounds. But we'll get into that. Again, if you have any questions about any of these slides, you can just put it into the chat box and I will answer it at the end. Again, just another example of what you could use in your small groups and as follow-up activities, again, tailored more to your younger groups. If you can see on the whiteboard, write the word. We like children to look at pictures, like if it's sun, and can they hear the individual letters in that word? And can they write the word s, a, n, and then again, the sound cards that they can have in front of them to find the correct letter and write it correctly, because again, you want to work on their letter formation, that they are doing it the right way. Then you've got some initial letter sound activities where you want them to hear the initial letter sounds. Then further back, there's a phonological awareness activity. There's about 2 of them. And what this does, it works on your rhyming, your syllable work, your phoneme deletion, your phoneme manipulation. Can they identify the initial letter sound, the end sound, the middle sound? Can they even read the sentence at the end and write it? And there's also the heart word, for example, of, that the F is not making the V sound. So again, that activity could be used in your small group, and they could actually go off and carry on with those kind of activities in their independent literacy groups. And again, this focuses all on those science of reading elements that you want them to build on. You want to build that foundation. Okay, then the next, okay, so this is really important, your decoding and your blending activities. Where if you're starting with your CVC words, extending to ccvc, so the 4-letter words, because I find that they really struggle with 4-letter words, especially those that are struggling with spelling and reading and they have dyslexia. They can't hear that consonant blend in the beginning or the end, so like frog. So you really want to get them to tap the sound. So I've got little sound buttons. Then really great idea is to have some letters around the activity so that they can build it first, and then they can copy it down correctly when they're writing, if they're ready to write. And again, it also works with digraphs as well. And you could extend it to your vowel teams for the older groups. So this is really great because it really works on their spelling skills, and you can actually see it when they go on to writing activities and writing stories. You can start seeing that their spelling is becoming better in their writing because of your decoding and blending activities like these they are doing independently. And you can even, if, I don't know if some of you use certain systems in class like SoR, or they take pictures of their work, and then later on you can go back and check have they done it correctly. So that's also another great idea to have. Some more activities that work on your phoneme, so your sounds that they hear, to grapheme, to them writing down the symbol. So this is your mapping skills. And these sorts of activities, again, are really important as it helps with their spelling skills and decoding difficult words when they come to longer words that they haven't seen, that they're able to decode those words and write it down. So you've got the first one, which is a little alphabet card. And again, you could use this and extend it. If they've gone past the stage, you can put in your digraphs, your vowel teams. You could change it up and they could then write different words. But this is just an example. So what they would do is, again, tap the sounds of the picture that they see. Then as they tap the sound, they've got to find the letter. So as you can see, they circle the D. Then they'll circle the R. And then they write it down correctly in the Alconan box.
Hello.
Write it down.
I'm good. How are you, honey?
If I could just ask everybody to mute, if they can just mute themselves, please. Thank you. So the second activity can look a bit confusing because, again, you want the child to make sure that they're finding the correct letters in the right order. So that's why there's a worksheet that comes with it, where they will write down the correct word in the right order once they tap the sounds. And you can make this multi-sensory. You can put Play-Doh and they can push the buttons as if they're calling someone or dialing someone, and they really have fun with this in their independent groups. Again, these activities are really important for your spelling and reading skills. And then the end, we have this activity for free in the TPT store, where, again, with the little pigs, they push their noses for the sounds they hear, and then they can map it, write it, and rhyme it. So this is a template that is free. So you can also download that one for free, and they can use that quite nicely in their activity groups when they are working without you. Next slide. Just again, some more examples of your phoneme to grapheme mapping skills. Again, you wanted to make it multi-sensory, some Play-Doh there. You've also got some building of words. So you could also extend this to the older grades and make it more difficult if you want, if I can say that, more adding vowel teams. You can change the pictures. You could put different pictures up there, and they can still use Play-Doh to say the sounds in the word. Now, some spelling skills they can focus on in their literacy centers. You've got this long E, you've got the long A, long I, all the different vowel teams. And can they think of different words that have the different vowel variations? So they'd write that in the flower. They would do that individually. But again, important that they have been taught this by the teacher before they go and do these activities on their own, just so that they're not writing anything that isn't making sense. That is why it's also quite nice to have a sound wall up on in the classroom, where they could then go and look, okay, what are the different ways we say E? And they can have a look, and then they can make their words. Then we have clip the correct sounds. So if they look at the picture like duck, what does the sound end in? It's the CK, and they just clip the correct sounds in that picture of what you want to focus on. You've also got the vowel teams in that one as well. And then some roll and read activities as well, where they just roll, read the word with their partner, and then they can write the word. They really have fun in using these activities when they're doing it on their own in their centers and their group work. Yeah, this is just the activity I went through with some phonological awareness skills. Again, you can do this in your, you could do this in your small groups with them, and then they just go off and do this. So this one is quite self-explanatory. Why I like this, again, it works on your rhyming, your alliteration, your syllable work, blending, decoding. So really, really great for your building foundations for reading and spelling. Just some more phonological awareness activities that the kids really enjoy, that I found that I used in my centers, that they really engaged with. They worked quietly, because a lot of the time when you're working with groups, you want your other groups to make sure that they are on task, that they're not playing around, that they're focused. And a lot of the time, these activities where they have to clip the correct sounds or build words, they actually have a lot of fun and they work together quite nicely. Just some more phonemic awareness skills. Again, this I would recommend you do this in your small group work together. If they are quite young still, 5 and 6, and they're just beginning their reading and spelling skills. So this one's really, the kids have lots of fun when they go off and do this on their own. It's when they change the letter, they swap the letter out to make a new word, and they have lots of fun trying to figure out, well, what is the new word? And what if I change this letter sound? If I take away this letter, and I put another letter, what's it going to say? They have lots of fun with that. And then the last one is the continuous blending. So that one they really like as well, because what I find is I get them to clip the correct picture of the word and they thread it through with a pipe cleaner, and it helps with their fine motor skills, and that really keeps them busy and engaged, and they enjoy that one as well. And again, before you go on to doing this, I would make sure that they can orally do this first. So can they orally change mat to map? Do they know the sounds? So I'd recommend you do this as a quick drill in your small groups before they do this independently. Okay, again, a multi-sensory activity they could go off and do as well. Just have pictures, counters, letters, Play-Doh. You want a lot of things around your table so that they can use and just be more hands-on. This is your reading intervention skills, just an idea, an example of if you want to, if you would like to do this with your group, and they can go off and carry on doing this on their own or with a buddy. They could read it to a buddy in their group. Okay. And again, some more building activities, again, to build on your blending. Here's your short vowel sounds. This is really a tough one because a lot of them confuse their short and long vowel sounds. So you don't want to confuse them. So these activities are really great fun for them to do independently in their groups, because they can work together. They hear, is it a short up? Is it a short sound, or is it a long sound? So really great fun activity they do over there. And just another example on a multi-sensory approach with your letter sounds. And this is a great one for your older kids. So this one you can get for free. This template's for free again on our TPT store. So again, you could give words to them on the board. They could go off and do it in their groups. And can they say the sounds? Can they decode it? Can they put it in a sentence? And then we've also got your morphology, more of your base words with your prefix and your suffix words, like reacting. Can they identify the prefix, the suffix, and the base word? And then they can do that quite nicely in their literacy activities independently. And some morphology. So again, for your older grades, they could identify the root word, the prefix, and the suffix. They have a lot of fun like that with this game. And you can even make cards with the words, and they can do this together in a group. These are just activities that I found that they really enjoyed using because they got to play this with a buddy. So your phonics games, your phonics activities that build on recognizing your letter sounds, your digraphs, your vowel teams, and really great for spelling. So you could see them working on their spelling skills, which will flow into their writing activities. Just some more examples of those. And just for your older grades, again, your long vowel teams and identifying those. They have lots of fun playing with these games. And just to have a sound mat if you are working on writing activities, something like this, that they also use so they can find the right vowel variations or all the correct sounds. Okay, so these are the free resources that you will be getting. And again, there are some more free resources on the website. So we're going to give you the intervention reading lesson plan, then a puppet activity and your word building activity. And with the scope and sequence reading lesson plan is quite nice because it gives you a scope on how to teach the correct way and the correct order to use, and what activities and words you could use so that they can do in their independent literacy centers. So something else that's just, you will be getting these slides. This is just where you can find some of activities if they were of any interest to you. Otherwise, you can make your own quite easy. So this is a really great part of the webinar. What I find as a teacher, I get overwhelmed with all the different resources that are out there and the free resources, and then you go and find them and you can't find them, and actually what's great, what's not great. So there's a few of these I've put up on the slides, and I've found this one really great, the Beyond Phonics. So what I'm going to do, just because sometimes it's also hard to say, okay, I go into that site, where are these free resources? I can't find them. So what I have done is I'm just going to stop sharing. And I'm going to go, let me just, yeah, I'm going to stop sharing over here. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to get onto one of those sites and show you some of those free resources that I found quite valuable to use in literacy centers. Okay, let me see if I can get... Oh, here. Okay. Okay, so this one over here is the Beyond Literacy, which is really great. So a member login, if you're not a member, just sign in, as this has incredible free resources, and especially for your older learners with morphology and that whole, those resources that are difficult to find. So you would just sign in. Just going to see if I can quickly sign in and show you some of these free resources. If I can get in quickly. Okay, so it would take you over here. So if you're already a member, then you just click, I've done this already. And now it says dive in. So again, all these are free, really great to just, if you have time to have a look. And here we click on teaching resources, teaching and learning resources. And you want to click onto the TFE drive. You want to access the drive. And here you've got a wealth of resources that you could also look through. So again, you just, if you have time, just go through all these really great activities that you could use in your literacy centers. Just an example over here. Let's see, I found a really great one with morphology. I think it was, here we go. More, you get a morphine activity pack. You just click and free resources, just how to do it. All here, words that you could use, just really great if you have the time to access. And then we've got another one, which I put on the link, some other science of reading resources that are for free. You click, okay, which one do I want to work on? That's phonics, click on phonics, and you go to phonics activities. And here are some free resources that you could also download. Even a free decoding strategy bookmark over here. Some puppet activities as well that you could download. So just really great just to know that these are available. And there's a forms, word reading. And again, some more free resources there for you as well. And they're all on the link that I will send you. I will send you the PowerPoint. I'll send you this, and you can have those links as well. Yes, so that is the end of the webinar. Are there any questions or anything that anybody would like to ask before we go? Okay, again, if you have any questions, happy for you to send me an email, and yeah, just if you have any other thoughts and questions about what you could do in your literacy activities, I'd really love to help if you need any more advice or suggestions. Okay, thank you. I see everybody has written their email address. So what I'll do is when we go, I will send you some free resources and I will send you the presentation when we go. Okay, thanks for joining the webinar, and I really hope this was helpful, and I hope you got some great ideas from this webinar and that you can go off and use some great activities for your kids in the classroom. If there was something else that maybe you have older kids in your class and you're not too sure what activities to use, also welcome for you to send me an email and I can send you some ideas as well. Okay, and thank you so much for joining. And if you have feedback, I'd love to hear some feedback as well. Thanks so much and thanks for your time. Bye.